Market is absolutely booming in the NFL right now, and a couple days ago, Ross asked me what I thought the Chiefs might do, who I thought the Chiefs might trade away, and by the end of this video, you were unlikely to like me any more. You are more likely to like me a lot less because there are some fan favorites on this list. And I will not be talking about Derek Noddy in this video. I will have a video later tonight or tomorrow about Derek Noddy, but let's get this out of the way up top because Brett Veach has gotten trade value out of Sky Moore, Yasir Durant, Parker Anger, and Ihmir Smith-Marsette. Brett Veach traded another NFL franchise and got a return on Sky Moore, Yasir Durant, Parker Anger, and Ihmir Smith-Marsette. Guys, here's one thing I want to tell you right now. If in the next couple of weeks I start making New York Jets content instead of the Kansas City Chiefs content that you see on this channel, well, I hope you enjoy the resulting 6th round pick because Brett Veach traded your boy Scrambling away to New York. So, that's the reason I want to get that out of the way, is that some of the players that I'm about to name are going to seem kind of far-fetched. Who would trade for this player or that player? But Brett Veach has also proven that timelines are as irrelevant for the Kansas City Chiefs as they are for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If he has to take a 2028 7th round pick in order to retrieve value for a player that he wasn't going to keep anyway, well, that 2028 7th round pick is something that he will use because he will still be the general manager for the Kansas City Chiefs, while and whereas that 2028 7th round pick is monopoly money to most of these GMs because they don't know if they're going to be there next year. So let's get into the actual players. Joshua Williams, this one is obvious, right? This is the one that's been rumored forever. Joshua Williams, why is he a tradable asset? Well, he does have a 9.43 RAS. He is a cornerback with nearly 33-inch arms. He is a 6'2" tall cornerback with a 1.5 10-yard split. And on top of that, to be fair, no one knows why he's in the doghouse in Kansas City. So it's not like other teams can say, well, yeah, but you don't have him out there because XYZ. No one knows. No one knows what Joshua Williams is doing on the sidelines all the time. Here is what he has done in his NFL career. He only has 1 interception, but he's good for pass deflections every season. He is good in run support, and he has played 1,169 snaps in his career, along with 740 special team snaps. This is a guy that you can put on the field and you can trust him. At least it seems, right? He plays between 321 and 437 defensive snaps per year. That has value in the NFL. There are going to be cornerback needy teams who will look at someone like Josh Williams, and if the asking price is only what it was for Sky Moore, they will pull that trigger. They will want that trade. If all I have to do is give you my 7th or my 6th for your 7th and Joshua Williams, I will do it. The issue is you only get to pull that trigger once if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, because now you don't have a 7th round pick in 2027. You still have one in 2026, right? They've traded some pick from 2026, but I don't remember which one it was. 1 or 2 picks they have traded from the upcoming draft. So those are my thoughts on Joshua Williams. I do think that he is a tradable asset. I do think that there will be teams around the NFL that would want him. Whether or not the deal gets done is yet to be seen. What about Mike Edwards? Well, let's be honest, he has not looked good this preseason, and he does not play much on special teams. So his value to the Kansas City Chiefs, who have Brian Cook, who have Chamari Connor, who have Jaden Hicks, might be limited. I think that Glendon Miller is a promising safety. The Chiefs have not necessarily shown that they think Glendon Miller is all that promising through the preseason, but we don't know what practice is like for Glendon Miller, and the fact that Glendon Miller would be willing to play special teams and Mike Edwards doesn't do a whole lot of that should be a selling point. And if it's not Glendon Miller, I mean, maybe there's some other safety on there, right? I was just throwing out the guy that I like, but I don't think that the Chiefs are going to keep 5 safeties. I think they will keep 4, and that might make Mike Edwards the odd man out. He is someone who has 8 career interceptions, 195 yards on those, giving him 3 interceptions returned for touchdowns. He has also racked up 247 tackles during the length of his career. I don't think that Mike Edwards is any longer that Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards, during his year with the Kansas City Chiefs formerly, had 621 defensive snaps, 118 special team snaps. He translated those 621 defensive snaps into, 51 tackles. So not the most active in that department. 2 fumble recoveries for 101 yards and a fumble recovery touchdown, however. So I don't think that's who Mike Edwards is anymore. Falling off happens fast in the NFL, and I think that is what we have seen from Mike Edwards. I think we started to see it his final year in Tampa Bay. I think we saw it a little bit more fully realized his one season with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's why that ended up being one season with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think we saw that with last season's results as well. You see 3 games with Buffalo, 5 games with Tampa Bay. What is that? That would be 191 snaps total defense on the season. So there will be teams who need veteran leadership in the safety room. There will be teams for whom Mike Edwards will be a starter. And I think that no matter what the offering price is, if you can squeeze anything out of a guy like Mike Edwards, I think you do it. And I think you take the younger talent on the roster, assuming there is a younger safety that they fancy. Then we have 2 offensive linemen on this list, Wanya Morris. So I'm just going to break the spell here. Wanya Morris and Ethan Driscoll. Break the secret here. Here's the big thing. You have your starting 5. And then you have Mike Caliendo, who has center guard versatility. You have Kingsley Suamataia, who is on your starting 5, but he does offer guard tackle versatility. You might not want him there, but you have him there. Then you have Jalen Moore, who apparently offers guard tackle versatility. It appears that the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of offensive linemen cross-training at different positions, Hunter Nourzad, center and guard, in order that they can get away with carrying 9 offensive linemen as opposed to the 10 offensive linemen that they carried last year. If that is the case, probably the non-starter and non-swing tackle, Jalen Moore, with the highest trade value and maybe the least versatility for the Kansas City Chiefs would be Wanya Morris. Wanya Morris with an 8.35 RAS score, 10 1/4 inch hands, 35 and an 1/8 inch arms. Absolutely incredible arm length. A 5'1", 140-yard dash, 9'3" broad jump. He offers a lot of things He just hasn't worked out for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs wanted him to be a left tackle. Doesn't appear that is in the cards for him. He played 734 reps last season, 339 reps as a rookie, and he has added 134 total special team snaps as well. If you can trade Yasir Durant and Parker Enger for compensation, you can trade Wanya Morris. I don't know that they will because he is so high on the depth chart, is Wanya Morris, but he is the offensive lineman for whom you could get the highest return should you decide to do that. Ethan Driscoll. Again, I'm going to point to Yasir Durant. Yasir Durant did not have much more, did not play much more than Ethan Driscoll. I'm losing words right now. But 4 snaps and 4 special team snaps. That's all Ethan Driscoll has played. But he's 6'8.5", 313 pounds, 35.5-inch arms, 10.5-inch hands. Again, the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, are likely to go with the 9 offensive lineman 53-man roster in order that they can keep 7 wide receivers. The Rashee Rice suspension has really thrown things off for this team, and I think they're going to feel those reverberations. Ethan Driscoll made the 53 last year. Ethan Driscoll, I don't think, is one of the top 9 offensive linemen this season. The Chiefs added Jalen Moore and Joshua Williams, and they subtracted Joe Thuney. So you're looking at an offensive line that was 10 names, and Ethan Driscoll was the 10th. They have one more name net between Josh Williams and Jalen Moore, minus Joe Thuney. So one more net name. That means Ethan Driscoll is your 11th offensive lineman. Even if you keep 10, you probably don't keep Ethan Driscoll. A lot of people think it's going to be C.J. Hansen. I think C.J. Hansen has a lot of leeway with this staff. I think C.J. Hansen has shown this preseason that he is going to be that he's shown a lot of progress. Now, the argument might come up, Ethan Driscoll just had his appendix taken out. Ethan Driscoll could be on the IR this season. You could put him on IR and keep him through the year. Maybe that happens. Either way, I don't think he's one of your 53. So, moving on from the offensive lineman, Elijah Mitchell, an RAS of 9.5, even though he's only 5'10", only 201, only bench pressed 17 reps with 225. He had a 37.5-inch vertical, a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump, and a 4.35 40-yard dash, not to mention a 6.9 4.3 cone drill. The big argument that would stop this from happening, stop the Kansas City Chiefs from trading Elijah Mitchell, is this. Well, the rumor already broke that you're shopping for running back help. So, if I'm attempting to trade for Elijah Mitchell, why not just wait for him to be released? Well, here's the excuse that the Chiefs can use in order to sell Elijah Mitchell. The only reason they want to get rid of him is because he's the same type of back as Brashard Smith. Andy Reid likes to have a 4-pitch special in the backfield. You need a fastball, you need a curveball, you need a breaking ball, you need a knuckleball? I don't know. So that could be the way that the Chiefs save face in the trade market trying to get rid of Elijah Mitchell. Hey, we like him. We like what he does. We know he's capable, but he's so far down on our depth chart because we drafted Brashard Smith and they're kind of the same back, and we just like Brashard Smith better. Golly gosh, don't you know? Now, the rumors are that he has underperformed. The Chiefs have been kind of cutthroat with running backs so far this preseason. They didn't bring in a lot of names. They had Elijah Young. I'm blanking on his name now. It was Elijah Young, right? There's a lot of Elijahs here. But Elijah Young, former Missouri running back, and we didn't see him at all. And then when the Chiefs' offense is actually formulating things, we don't see Carson Steele at all. And we have seen very little Elijah Mitchell. So I think it might just be that maybe he's underperforming, or maybe it's just that they need a different type of back. They need a balanced running back, and Elijah Mitchell is really a speed back. You've got a speed back in Brashard Smith. Here's where you start to hate me. What if the Chiefs trade Robert Tonyan? Well, for what? Right? He's an older guy. He had a good flash early in his career, but what has he done lately? Well, this preseason, he's looked mighty good. This comes down to whether or not they can IR Jake Brenningstool, or do they think they can sneak him through the waiver wire and land him on their practice squad? If the answer is no, they don't think they will. They don't think he will slip through the waiver wire. They don't think they're going to IR him. Then they might take a chance on the future, betting on Jake Brenningstool, while figuring that Tonyan is the third tight end, and he would likely only play 100 to 130 snaps over the whole season anyway. If that's the case, why not take the chance on the younger guy? You're talking about not even 10 snaps per game. Throw Jared Wiley out there for the 10 snaps that you would have Robert Tonyan. If that is the argument, then Robert Tonyan becomes a tradable asset. Again, none of these guys are you going to get a second-round pick for. Probably of all of these guys so far, you're looking at Wanya Morris having the highest return value, and it's not very much. So, is what it is. And the final name on this list, you will hate me, I know, Nikko Remigio. Remigio, wherefore art thou, Remigio? Why do I have his RAS screen, or his RAS score on the screen? Because this is exactly what you will not be selling. You will not be selling this if you have to trade Nikko Remigio. If you think you can get Brashard Smith to return kicks, if you think you can get Brashard Smith / any number of guys, Tyquan Thornton, to return punts, then maybe you have to trade Nikko Remigio to get Jason Brownlee on the roster, because Jason Brownlee gives you something that Nikko Remigio can't. Jason Brownlee gives you something that no one else on the roster does. Nikko Remigio at this point has proven just that he is a return man. I think he can be an effective receiver. I have seen that from him. Even if it hasn't been on an NFL field in an NFL game, but just a preseason game. Regular season, he has just 2 receptions, right? But what are you trading away when you trade away Nikko Remigio? Someone is buying his regular season 11 punt returns for 104 yards, his 11 kick returns for 295 yards. They are buying that. That is a 9.5 yard return average on punts and a 26.8 average on kickoff returns. But that's not all, baby. This is what he did in the playoffs. 3 returns, 57 yards. That is a 19-yard punt return average. It's just 3 returns, but it was 3 returns in the playoffs. Everyone in the NFL world saw those punt returns. He also returned 10 kickoffs for 301 yards, obviously a 30.1 yard average. The Chiefs traded Ihmir Smith-Marsette to the Carolina Panthers on August 29, 2023, in exchange for a swap of conditional 2025 7th-round picks. If you can do that for Ihmir Smith-Marsette, who proved way less on a regular season field, let alone a postseason field, than has Nikko Remigio in the return game, then you can trade Nikko Remigio for at least that amount. Now, you don't have those 7th-round picks to swap, right? Because you've already traded that away and ended up with a 6th. But you can finagle something in order to get value out of these players. I like Nikko Remigio. I want him to be on the roster. But if I'm being honest, out of this group, probably it's just Nikko Remigio that if I could veto the trade, I would. All the other guys, I think I'm at the point where it's just kind of like, I like Ethan Driscoll. I don't know that we saw enough. I like Wanya Morris. I've kind of lost patience with Wanya Morris. But anyway, guys, so here's the thing, though. Do not count out an absolute whopper of a surprise. I don't know what it would be. I don't know for what it would be, but I think we are at the point with this roster where very difficult decisions are going to have to be made. There seems to be a lot of talent on this roster, and you can only keep 53 of these guys. So what's the wildest scenario here? What if they trade Hollywood Brown? Are you really banking on Hollywood Brown playing a full 17 anyway? If trading Hollywood Brown, who is a lesser, I hate to talk this way, right? But is a lesser Xavier Worthy? And you keep someone who can return punts like Nikko Remigio? Or you keep someone who can catch a back shoulder fade like Jason Brownlee? I mean, how much have we seen Hollywood Brown this preseason? How much did we see Hollywood Brown last postseason? Right? So I think that it's just worth keeping in mind that something like that can happen. That is all I have for this video. I'll be back later with a video on the return of Derek Noddy, or as I like to call him, Mecole Hardman II. We're going to keep just giving him away and trading back for him. Anyway, I will be back with that later or tomorrow. I'm not sure right now at this point. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.